Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol brandies, and this one is called Brandy Fundador Solera Reserva. This is from Spain, and it is produced at the Pedro Domecq distillery. Pedro Domecq established that distillery. Well, no, it was established in 1730, but he took over the production of that distillery in 1874, and he introduced his brandy. Fundador, the founder, and there's the Pedro Domecq crest, and it is imported, obviously, from Spain, and they claim that they're the oldest brandy in Spain, and it's got a designation here, Brandy de Jerez, from Jerez, Spain. Geographical certification. And I guess it is the oldest brandy in Spain if they're claiming it. Nobody's challenging them on it. And it's going up against an American that's been around 55 years. This American brandy is called Bankers Club Select. And it is selected by Laird and Company, and they bottle it in New Jersey. Scobeyville, New Jersey. Now, I don't know where it's made. They don't say where it's made. And I keep forgetting to look up a list, and if they have such a list, they probably don't, but a list of American brandy distilleries. I'll see if I can find out. I don't know if I will. I'll try. It's got a medieval looking label, kind of nice looking, colorful. I would have preferred the glass bottle, but they did not have it at Total Wine and More. This was $22. This one was about $20. Something like that. I think I got it on sale. It was more like 13. But hey, I got a Savannah discount. A lot of times they have good discounts, so there you go. Now, but it was so many years ago, I don't remember. I know it was discounted. Makes sense. Don't really see this one in Louisiana. Maybe I've seen Fundador once at some other place one other time, but it's not common. Might be common where you live. You might live in New York and say, man, that's everywhere. Well, yeah, but not here. Bankers Club, nah, it's not common. I saw it at Total Wine and More and never saw it again. But there's probably a couple other places that carry it. I just haven't seen it. Now, the common brandies in Louisiana, not really Corbel. There's a few stores sell Corbel, but it's not common, really. But the ones you see at every store is Paul Masson, Christian Brothers, and E&J. They always have that. And Hennessy, the cognac brandy from France. So those four you always see. And I should add Remy Martin, because you pretty much always see Remy Martin. And number 6, honorable mention, is Saint Remy with VSOP, which is it's pretty common too. Not as common, but pretty common. All right, those are the ones you see a lot. Courvoisier, yes, not everywhere, but it wouldn't be hard to find it. Okay, get down to it. Pour these, let them start to breathe. Make sure I got my tags correct, because I've had mistakes in the past. I've made mistakes in the past. Blame it on me because it was my fault. All right. Yeah, that's enough for sure. Built-in pour, you got to watch because it'll come out quick. Okay. I'll do this. Do the screen share. After I show the products. Appearance. The Bankers Club's a little lighter. And the Fundador is a little darker. They're both in the copper realm, copper range. Remember, they take grapes. Then they make wine. Now you could stop there and sell the wine, no problem. But then they take it a third step and they distill the wine into a liquor. And then they age it in oak barrels for a number of years, and then it becomes brandy. When it's not aged, it's not brandy. It's just a grape spirit wine, which they used an unaged wine spirit to make the fortified wines, like some of these dessert wines that are 18% and all that, even 20. They'll jack it up with that unaged brandy base. Okay. And that's a good thing to use because it's also from grapes, so it won't taint the flavor of the wine. Fundador, Solera. They use the Solera method where they stack barrels 10 high at an angle. And they just, every year, they'll dump brandy out of the first barrel and bottle it. And they'll take the second barrel, dump it in the first, some of the third, fourth into the third, fifth into the fourth, sixth into the fifth, and so forth. And they'll dump new brandy, raw brandy, unaged. Next year, they come back and do that same method. So at the bottom barrel, you may have brandies that's 100 years old, aging. That's what the age statement on this. It could be very old, depending on when they first started using the barrel. There's some other ones they have, the double Madeira, the double light, which is a very low alcohol, the Gold Reserve, the Exclusivo, which, that won't be $13. The light. These are in Spain, they're in at 35% alcohol. That would not work in the United States. They got to be 40%. That's just, other countries don't have that law. So if you go to Mexico, you're going to find brandies to be about 35%. But it wouldn't make it here. It wouldn't be allowed. Or they could sell it. They could just call it brandy. They could call it like a grape distillate, wine distillate, which is allowed. All right. And they only use one type of grape. It's grapes from Pago de Marchanudo. I know nothing about that. Here's the technical sheet. Old gold with rainbow-hued flashes, balanced and clean with a fragrance of wood that has contained sherry. So they're aging it in sherry barrels. Interesting. The Solera method also, so that makes perfect sense. Smooth and persistent. Recommended storage: dry place at room temperature, exactly where it's been stored, in a cabinet at room temperature. Serving temperature: cool. Well, no, I'm afraid this is not cool. Okay. Pairs perfect with nuts, pastries, chocolates, and spicy foods. I went to Spain last year, and the food was definitely not spicy. In fact, it was sort of bland, and I kind of had to add hot sauce and black pepper to it. It tasted good. I'm not going to say it didn't taste good. It just wasn't spicy. That's a Mexican type thing. I'll talk to people from Central America, and they say, nah, our food is not spicy. That's a Mexican thing. I know a guy from Guatemala. He said it's really not spicy. And a guy from Nicaragua, and he said the same. We don't like a lot of hot stuff. That's what he told me. Now, I've never been to Nicaragua. I've never been to Guatemala. I went to Costa Rica for a week. Was the food spicy? No, it was not in any way. Not spicy heat. I mean, it had spice like salt and pepper and maybe oregano, whatever, in it just to give it. But it was flavorful, but it wasn't spicy hot. But I enjoyed it. Okay. Now, there's the Bankers Club lineup. There's the Bankers Club brandy in the glass bottle, liter bottle, which I didn't find. There's the straight bourbon, Kentucky bourbon, blended whiskey, gin, vodka, blended scotch, clear rum, gold rum, all sourced. None of this is at the distillery. To my knowledge, maybe some grain spirits for the blended whiskey, but I think all of this stuff, the straight whiskey used in the blend and the straight whiskey from Kentucky, is Scotch source. So no problem. Now the vodka could be done there, but so and they talk about their distillery, but they main focus on Applejack. Okay. which is apple brandy. And I've never had apple brandy. You can make brandy out of any wine. And you know you can make wine out of any fruit. What's the most common? Grapes. But certainly not the only. I'll have to show. Okay, so, oh, heck. Wrong thing. People in Louisiana make blackberry brandy, for instance, strawberry brandy. I guess you could make that strawberry wine. They make a lot of any wine, strawberry. You could distill it. Now, I don't know if it would be any good. No, that's a no good. This I do not know. The oldest bodega in her. They're showing photos of the old. And yes, they give tours. Alfonso the 13th was a big of this brandy company. King of Spain. Now, there's old, the bottle design has changed over the years. Old advertisements. I found some advertisements. Old magazine. And for the longest time, it was imported by Canada Dry Company. Yeah, true story. Imported by Canada Dry. Cognac Fundador. Look at they calling it cognac. That's where France passed that law where you could only call cognac if it was from the region of France, cognac. But in the old days, they would call stuff cognac even if it wasn't from that part of France. It was just that style, you know. But there's another old ad. Don't see those anymore, do you? No. But anyway, I do have some of that. Let me see, that won't come up big, will it? Nah, it's bigger than I thought. I do have some Ukrainian brandy. Maybe I could save these and enlarge them. Well, that's pretty large. I'm going to save some of these later when I get a chance and put them on alcohol legs, because people on alcohol legs and on Facebook, they like to look at these old ads. And look, it says the cognac from Spain. All right, so there you go. See what I'm. But I have some Ukrainian brandy from Odessa, Ukraine, Shustov Distillery, and they call their stuff cognac. It's called Shustov Cognac Distillery, but it's in Ukraine, and it's been there since the 1860s. And they age it in French oak. But they still, that legally, they couldn't call it cognac, you know, but they do call their company that. And France has no control over Ukraine's name for their brandy, although they could try to pressure them when they are giving them weapons and all of this because of the current conflict. All right, Joe Cobb says, morning, Ron. Made some bacon and eggs with a glass of milk. That sounds like my kind of breakfast. I'll have coffee with it myself, but yeah, it's focused. Now we'll turn on the lamp. Don't need to have it dark because it's not going to get daylight enough. The dawn is arriving. I'm going to see that, but it's not going to be enough. All right. I had a bagel with butter and grape jelly on it. A Tufayan bagel from the Tufayan family. Still family owned. One of the few big companies that's still family owned, Tufayan. Not bad. Hit the spot. Brandy looks good. It is. It's going to be good. Now, can I tell them apart? Now, that's questionable. We're going to find out right about now. I'm not usually up this early. Yeah, I got up so early this morning, but I went to sleep. I was going to lay down. I said, let me lay down and watch this Major League game. And I didn't know if they were going to show the White Sox and the Mariners or the Yankees and the Red Sox, because they were previewing both, because Fox was going to feed both games on their national feed. And I didn't know which one they were going to show here, but I was so sleepy, I just turned it off. And it was still daylight, but I didn't care. When I get sleepy, I go to sleep. If I don't, then I'll be up all night. If I don't go to sleep as soon as I'm getting sleepy, I'll be up. Then I got up to use the restroom about 12 midnight. It was just before midnight, and I couldn't get back to sleep for about an hour. I was just laying there, you know. But usually if I just lay there, I'll go back to sleep. And I did, and I got up at 1:46. True story, 1:40. That's crazy. I'm like a reverse night owl. I have friends that stay up till 3 in the morning, And then I say, yeah, I kind of like that too, but I'm up at 3 in the morning. When you're getting ready to go to sleep, I'm up looking at baseball highlights and getting ready to do these things. I did watch every game's the highlights of every game today. I'll do that every morning. I haven't missed one this year. Is that important? No. But do I enjoy it? Yes. All right, aroma. Not a whole lot here. Must be the Bankers Club. This has some richness and some oak. And we did a duo review yesterday. That'll be posted next month because I always backlog my review. But I told my friend David, you want to do Bankers Club? I was trying to push this one. He's like, no, he wanted to do this Spanish brandy. I said, oh, heck. But I don't mind sharing, but we did it. And he said, man, I'm picking up a lot of oak. I said, yeah, you do that. It's in those 10 oak barrels over maybe decades. So you're going to have the oak. And man, he loved it. He was like, wowza. And I was like, yeah, too bad you can't get it, really. All right, taste time. Cheers. But if he sees it and it's like, well, I found it for $13 or $14, and he'll buy that in a snap. He was telling me that brandy gives me a headache. No, he was telling me that Michael Collins whiskey gave him a headache. He said, I said, so you just drank one and then you went to sleep? Oh, he said, well, no, I had a few and then I had some beer and then I went to sleep. I said, oh, well, that might have something to do with the headache. It wasn't just like one or two. This is pretty basic and it's dry. I said this already. This brandy, Bankers Club brandy is dry. Meaning it has almost no sweetness. Now this has richness, oak, and those grape leaves. Now see, brandy could throw you now. If you don't like grapes and you don't like wine, you can stop there and don't try brandy because you're not going to like it. I wouldn't think you would because it tastes like raisins and grape leaves. And my friend David agreed with that. He said, I like that. He kind of liked that description, raisins. I said, yeah, brandy tastes like raisins, which is made from grapes, as we know. And grape leaves. Now, if you go to the Greek festival and they have the grape leaves with the stuff with the lamb, ground meat, you can eat it. You eat the leaves, but they're very sharp flavored and tannic. Like if you get some tea leaves in your tea, you have that flavor. All right, second taste. Yeah, dry. Compared to the one over here, it's bland. On its own merits, it's not bland. Now, when I did a solo review, it was like flavorful and I liked it and it was dry and it had a lot of character. But, that's all relative. So when you put it up against something else, sometimes it'll start to fail. I've done that with whiskey, tasted a whiskey on its own and it's like, wow, man, this stuff's so good. Oh, yeah. Oh, wowza. Yay, yippee-ki-yay, mother, father, and all of that. Then I'll put it in a challenge and it's not that great, but that's part of the challenge. And the whole purpose of the challenge is to see if it's really that great or if it's really that bad. Usually if they're bad, they're going to stay bad. And that's why I started taste challenges, because people would always exclaim, I know my Jack Daniels or I know my Bud Light. And they will go on and on. I say, well, you know it, but do you really know it? If you put it in a taste challenge blind, not you looking at Bud Light versus Miller Lite, I mean in a taste challenge where you don't know which is which, because they're both yellow, you wouldn't know. Straw, golden straw, you wouldn't know. Then can you tell? And I think a lot of times they would not be able to tell. And I get a laugh out of it, because, you get fixated on a brand. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like you say, that's my brand, that's my beer, I drink that. Or that's my jelly, I eat that jelly, that's the only jelly I use. That's fine. Because people tend to be brand loyal. That's fine. But The part that's not fine is then you'll claim the other ones are inferior, they're not good or anything. No, no, that's where you start running into some incongruity. You see, it if Skippy is your peanut butter, no problem. But don't go around talking about all the other ones are garbage. And the guy I know who loves Bud Light, he'll say Miller Lite, that's trash. I tried it once, once it's trash. I say, oh, fool, you probably couldn't even tell it apart from Bud Light in a blind taste test. Oh, yes, I could, but now he hasn't demonstrated it, so we don't know. Maybe he could, but we'd have to see. Which is where the experiment comes from. And that's what this is, an experiment. And my prediction, my hypothesis was if I take these two in a blind taste test and try them, comma, then I will be able to tell Bankers Club from Fundador. That's the hypothesis. Now we're doing the experiment. So then we're going to make the observations, which is what I'm tasting, sensory observation. And then we'll go to the conclusion. The conclusion will be I was either right or I was wrong. Is it a valid experiment? Yes, I'm testing what I'm supposed to be testing. Will it be reliable? I don't know. The only way I could establish reliability would do it 10 times. You have to show repetition. So this one time doesn't really establish reliability, but I'm not going to do 10 taste tests with the same two products. It's not going to happen. All right. So it's not that important. So I'd say this is the Bankers Club, and I don't prefer it. I prefer the Fundador. It is the Bankers Club. It's drier, a little less flavorful. Not a bad product, but it can't compete against a really renowned Spanish brandy that could contain brandies 100 years old. It just can't make it. It's a basic, popular price, or if you want to say value price brandy. It'll work, no problem, but it ain't gonna it's not gonna compete against this, and it does not. No way. How is it going to hold up against the French brandies I have? The Biscuit and Debouché Cognac, the Reynal, and the Saint Remy VSOP. I think it's going to get killed. Personally, I don't think it's going to stand a chance. But we're going to find out over the next few days. All right, well, y'all take care. Go and turn on the news and see what's happening there. All right, bye-bye, everybody. See y'all in 3.5 hours for Super Sunday.